I might have him on the top end. Forgot how much fun this car was. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Something a little different we got for you today. The next build. Little different, little unusual, but at the same time I think something that would be just a little bit special. So we've got some pretty crazy plans for this car, and the car itself is actually pretty crazy and quite the sleeper. So we're going to jump straight into it. I'm going to take you out in the car and I'm going to show you what it's all about. Okay, so what you're looking at is a 55 plate 2006 Saab 9.5 Aero. I bought this thing probably knocking on for a year ago. When I'd taken the Skyline off the road, I wanted something that was a little bit of good fun. This thing came up for sale, pretty cheap, and I bought it. I drove it around for probably 8 months or so, drove the absolute shit out of it, didn't maintain it particularly well, and it just absolutely kept on slugging. It was completely reliable, didn't give me a moment's drama. Overall, a pretty fantastic car for an old Saab. I've actually owned a couple of old Saabs and I find them pretty good. It's been off the road now for about 3 months. When the Skyline was close to finished, I ended up getting myself a little Almira because, you know, it does 50 miles to the gallon. This thing's terrible. It's not more fuel efficient than the Skyline, really. 20, 22 miles to the gallon if you're lucky and if you're behaving. Kind of been thinking what to do with it for a little while. I was just going to sell it or potentially even scrap it. Back last week, I was kind of looking at it and thinking, I should just build something with it and just go mental. You know, the last couple of things that I've built, they've all been really serious. I always do them to quite a high spec. So before I'd done the Skyline, I built a Morris Thau and I just went completely over top on it. I originally pulled it off the road. I was going to give it a bit of a clean up, a bit of a lick of paint, freshen up the engine. And it was off the road for 12 months. I completely rebuilt the motor and it was, yeah, way too much. I took it way too seriously. So I've decided with this one, no all's barred. I'm just going to go mental on it. So the reason this car is really cool and I really enjoyed driving it is it's actually a little bit of a weapon. Being the Aero Hot, it has a 2.3 litre, 4-cylinder, 16-valve engine. From factory, they produce about 250 brake horsepower and a similar amount of torque. Jeremy Clarkson actually drove this thing on Top Gear a few years ago. Go back and watch the episode. Search for it on YouTube, Top Gear Saab 9.5. They're quite mental vehicles. This one is just a smidge more mental. It's had a noob tune, stage 3.5. It's got a fuel pressure regulator, 3-inch turbo downpipe, sports catalytic converter, induction, a few other little bits and bobs. So believe it or not, this old black boat has got 305 brake horsepower and 330 foot-pounds of torque. Right, we're coming up to the dual carriageway here, so I'm just going to give it a little blip. Second gear, 25 miles an hour. Whoa. The odd thing about this, coming from the Skyline into this car, you only really need to rev this to about 5.2. I mean, the torque band in it comes in real early, and although it'll rev up to 6, you don't need anywhere near that much. I mean, you can swap gears here at 5 and it's all it needs. Forgot how much fun this car was. I think probably what's not translating well at the video is really how quick this car is. They're surprisingly fast. It would be great if we had, you know, some kind of point of reference, perhaps a car from like a similar era with a similar sort of power output to kind of compare it to. Oh look, a Skyline. Well, I think the only thing we can do is race. Oh, I might have him on the top end. Oh, he pushed out. And smoked by the Saab. This car is quick. Skyline's about 300 horsepower. This is about 300 horsepower. The only difference being Skyline's probably not got a great deal more than 250 foot-pounds. It's surprised a lot of people. Perfect sleeper, I think, a perfect little rack car, which effectively is what I'm going to want to build out of it. I want a huge set of steel wheels, like 17, 18 inch set steel wheels. I'm going to band them to like 12 or 14 inches, stretch a set of 305 tyres on them or something daft like that, and then I'm just going to build the car around these enormously wide and stupid wheels. I'm thinking to cut away the outer arches, make up a set of steel arches myself, fabricate them all myself with some round bar and some sheet metal, and make effectively this huge wide body Saab 9.5. And I want it to be quick, so I'm thinking big front mount intercooler on here, some bigger pipe work, and then I'm going to do something crazy with the exhaust as well. I'm thinking I want to keep the cat on it to keep it legal, but I'm going to come from the cat, and I may be thinking some kind of crazy wing exit or bonnet exit or something like that. You know, I think that's going to get the last little bit out of the turbo. It's going to be the last couple of PSI and make it a bit quicker. I'm also thinking I'll rip all the interior out, because I mean, it's quite luxurious in here. It's all leather, it's all electric, all plush carpet. The carpet's real thick and covered in sound deadening. This dashboard is huge, you know? So I'm thinking, rip it all out. I'll probably save myself 300 kilos. I think up the brake horsepower a little bit by the exhaust and the intercooler, take 10% of its overall weight off, and I think it's going to be quite a cool little weapon. Okay, so here it is, the next build I'm going to be doing, and it's going to be the first build obviously that I'm doing on the channel. And this build is not to be taken seriously, okay? It's just going to be a crazy rat mix and match Frankenstein looking car. You know, I'm going to put these huge wide wheels on there, I'm going to cut all the arches, I'm going to build all new steel arches, I'm going to put a huge spoiler on it, I'm going to cut the bumpers to bits, I'm going to strip all the interior. You know, I'm just going to make it a kind of crazy rat car, and I think it's going to be great fun. I'm really looking forward to building something now that isn't serious. Not something like this, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and everything's got to be right. You know, it's just going to be a Franken car, and I really can't wait to get started on it. Might be a little steady at first, but I am going to try and get a video out to you guys at least every week. You know, hopefully I can get them out twice a week, but I will try and do a video at least every week on the Saab, separate to other videos. And hopefully you really enjoy the series. Hopefully you enjoy watching it as much as I know I'm going to enjoy building it. So first put a call next week, because I'm going to get up on axle stands, I'm going to strip all the wheels off and all the under tray and anything that's going to be in my way, see how much steel I've got to work with, then get a set of steel wheels and mock up how wide I'm going to want them, the size of tyres I'm going to want them, and see how much of the arch I'm going to have to cut away. So that's the first step next week, and hopefully within a week or so I will have that video up for you. So, you know, as ever, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.